Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the second game of the Six Nations today. Scotland taking on the English. Now, this game taking place at Murrayfield. A lot to prove for these two sides. Looking at their recent form in the Six Nations, Scotland, they've had two extremely close games. Some would even argue that you could say they've almost had two wins from two. Now, that second game, of course, ended in controversy. That is going to be something that will be in the back of the mind of the Scottish players, but they have to try and overcome that. They have to fight their way through. Speaking of close games, England have had two as well, but they have managed to pull off victories in both games over the Italians and also over the Welsh. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Scottish, it will be Pierre Scoorman in the front row alongside George Turner, and Xander Fagerson, Grant Gilchrist and Scott Cummings as the lock and duo, with Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge and Jack Dempsey coming in as the loose forward trio. Ben White and Finn Russell, the 19 combo that could be electric throughout this contest. I feel like Russell's unpredictability could be something that heavily favours the Scottish in this match. Sione Tuipulotu at 12 with Hugh Jones on the outside at number 13. Duan van der Merwe at 11. Cole Stain at number 14 returns, and Blair Kinghorn there at number 15. Then for the English, the away sides, the underdogs in this contest, Alice Gens, Jamie George and Dan Cole. Mara Toja and Ollie Chisholm will be the front five. Ethan Roots at 6, Sam Underhill 7, and Ben Earl, who has been playing extremely well ever since that World Cup, he is there at number 8. Danny Kerr at 9 due to the injury that we saw of Alex Mitchell. George Ford slots in as fly half. Ollie Lawrence and Henry Slade in the midfield. Elliot Daly, Tommy Freeman and George Furbank there at number 15 in replacement of Freddie Still. We have got there Scotland with Rob versus the French. And also now Hamish is a Māori name, pretty sure. Says Fluffy. Not that I know. I think it's more Scottish. And Hamish doesn't have a bias here. Says Mimania and Tuipulotu is a Scottish name. Says Fluffy, and hi everyone. Hope you had a good morning, day/night. Says McCowan there. And hi all, and Hamish says Robert. But they are currently playing the Scottish national anthem. They'll be fired up, raring to go here for this contest. I mentioned that there are two outcomes for this game. Either what happened last game for the Scottish will either make them play an extremely clinical and dangerous game of rugby, or they will look a little bit deflated, but I think it's going to be the first one. They know what this one means. It's also for the Kolkata Cup. So at the end of the day, there's trophy and there's silverware on the line here. See whether or not these two sides come to play. Fancy Scotland for this one, but if England win, it'll make the Island game at Twickenham very interesting. And that's the other side of things. If England are able to get themselves a victory here, their hopes of continuing through the Six Nations competition undefeated could stay alive, and that will mean that the game between England and Ireland could end up being the big decider. England only won their matches because of suspect referee. Also, France beat the Scots. If Irish TMO official, hope today no suspect ref decisions, says Gordon McIntyre. And yet we saw a free-flowing game between the Irish and Wales throughout that first half. I think it was only a 45-minute half, which is something that is almost unheard of in the game of rugby union today. The TMO was not involved at all. Surprised they call it the Kolkata Cup. Says Fluffy, and also we have got the how's it David. How's it Hamish? Says David, and I hope you are doing very well, mate. Kinghorn at 15 for the Scottish. We're also seeing George Furbank get the chance at number 15 for the English. So a couple changes in the back line for both of these sides. Going to add a lot of excitement and a bit of unpredictability into this contest as well. I should mention we have still got another game of the Six Nations that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gents. That will be the matchup taking place tomorrow morning at a similar time to this. This will be around the time that the game ends. That is between France and Italy. So if you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But two sides are on the field. They are ready to go. A few good players off the bench for both teams. But the main eyes, well, I don't even know how to say it, but pretty much the main attention is going to be on the players on the field for this first half, because unless there's an injury of some sort, these men out there on the park, they have to make sure that they are out there and still running around fresh as a daisy at halftime. Blair Kinghorn, excited, licking his fingers, try and give him a little bit more grip. It's like a lush Murrayfield. By the that grass in the background looked immaculate compared to what we are seeing in the sevens, which is actually the AstroTurf. That, of course, can cut through you like a hot knife through butter. Referee in charge of this one, it will be Andrew Brace of Ireland. Okay. And also, I think a South African TMO with Marius Jonker. The rest of the refereeing staff are the Irish representatives. Now the kickoff, England will be going from left to right, and we are now underway, ladies and gents, for another match of the Guinness Six Nations 2024. Nicely claimed by Blair Kinghorn, and already the Scottish are on attack. Let's pass out the back line. Finn Russell, quick hands to Blair Kinghorn, goes through, look for the pass on the outside, but it goes past the outside shoulder of Jack Dempsey. It will now be a line out for England, but they started quick there, the Scottish. He's looking off the KFC. Says Fluffy and finger looking good. Says Grumpus. Now Jamie George. Throw this ball in. They have done extremely well. It's called the Kolkata Cup because when trying to get the trophy together, Indian rupees used and melted down. Says Akaris. And there, Danny Gear back to George Ford. Puts up a cross kick. Looks like Freeman will be the man going up for this one. He hasn't taken it cleanly, but it's bounced back onto the side of Sam Underhill. Now trying to run down the wing here for England, but the foot was in touch. Running out of space for Freeman. Scotland now have got themselves the line out once more, but both these sides trying to push the tempo here. No one's sitting back. Going for a kicking game. Seems like we might see a few of those cross kicks, but not so much territory battle happening. I know that we saw quite a bit of that throughout the France versus Scotland game. They both want to keep this one rolling forward, though. And speaking of rolling forward, the rolling ball was good for Scotland, but they get the ball out the back. And now look to shift it out wide. Ben White scraping for that ball. Rush defense from Maro Atoje. It's going to be the knock on, but he seemed like he was extremely early when he made his way up there. Getting right in the face of the Scottish attack. Now George Ford pass on the inside from Lawrence. And the stream just kicked off. Says a Fluffy there as well. Now Tommy Freeman a long way off his right wing, tackle towards the touchline by Kinghorn. 20 metres out from the line though for England. Quick hands, Ben Earl goes off to Danny Kerr, short ball to Chisholm. And a pretty good Six Nations so far for that young man. That is a forward pass from, I think it was Henry Slade in the end. Tried to tip that one backwards, did travel forwards though. It's going to be the penalty. Sorry, not the penalty, the scrum in favour of Scotland. I'm hoping this game will be a little bit similar to what we saw between Ireland and Wales in terms of a lack of TMO interference and also just a free-flowing game of rugby. At the end of the day, both of these sides, I feel like matching the tempo that they're currently playing, they will start to fatigue quite quickly. Murrayfield, they will certainly try and keep their voices loud behind this home side. Scotland, Steve Borthwick, on enemy territory at the moment, wants to walk home with the Kolkata Cup and an undefeated streak for England in the Six Nations competition. Two very big four-packs, 911 kgs for Scotland compared to the 906 of the English. Both over that 900 mark, and we got ourselves a scrum reset on the far side. A little bit of instability between Alice Genge and Xander Fagerson. Those are two feisty characters. I don't think they'll be mucking around for too long. The other side, Pierre Gorman going head-to-head with Dan Cole. So a lot of experience there between those two. Scotland will be inside of their 22. This ball does come out the back for them. So more than likely we will just see a kick downfield from either Kinghorn or Russell. More than likely Russell will take the helm there. White, no, it's going to be the free kick to England there. Danny Kerr pushing over one of the Scottish players, trying to get that ball as quickly as possible. They've said that there was a little bit of an early bind or an early engagement from George Turner. And no surprises there, my money's on Genge. Says Fluffy and Eddie Jones got the train home from Scotland. Almost lost his life. says Krampus there. Now, Scottish feed has been dwindled. Instead, now England have the opportunity to feed this one in. Just inside of the Scottish 22. So a great attacking position on the field. Also on the far side of the field. So they've got all of this right-hand side to work with. Could we see another cross kick? We've already seen one from George Ford. Worked out eventually. Yes, Tommy Freeman didn't take it cleanly. Ben Earl's going to be breaking off the back now. Danny Kerr, so many running options here. Four go short. To Elliot Daly, one more. And that'll be the try for Tommy Freeman. Or no, in fact, it's Furbank who received the pass. And England score within the first 5 minutes of this fixture. See there, the English bench. They are fired up. Freddie Stewart cheering for George Furbank. That is his first try of international rugby. Come on, Scotland, says Justin. And how's the weather? Says Luke in there as well. The weather's looking pretty nice. I mean, it is overcast, but that is to be expected for this time of year in terms of these games taking place. But yeah, I think the weather should hold up. I don't think there's any rain, at least. I admit I prefer Scotland to win. England have no Grand Slam to play for it. Twickenham Island versus Scotland might still be a decider, but England try already, says Brian. And there as well. Tommy Freeman, sorry, not Tommy Freeman, George Furbank. Fired up big time, scoring that try only 6 minutes into this contest, and already England will be looking to put 7 points on the board with George Ford. First kick of the day will be 31 metres out. A long time here, George Ford, just to line it up. And he gets the kick over. Successful one early on for him. Makes the score 7 points to 0. It was found in the council flat. Try jacking up, says Krampus. Jeez, it looks slippery out there. And he slid in. Slammed into the turf and then kicked on, sliding forward in Bull's game. Going to be a killer. Says Punisher. And Hamish, what's your predictions for this game? Well, I did originally predict 25-22 in favour of Scotland. Now, I'm not going to be one of those guys who changes my prediction just because England have scored an early try. So, hopefully I'm still going to be relatively close, but Scotland will certainly have to fire back for that to be a reality. It's also going to be quite tricky for England to get to 22 unless they score 2 more tries, one unsuccessfully converted and then another penalty, which could happen. At the end of the day, England do opt for 3s normally. So Xander Fagerson, yeah, he's going off for his HIA. He's going white. I'm fine. What for? So pretty much the mouth guard now. Anytime Gregor Townsend's not happy. But anytime your mouth guard says that you should be concussed, you have to go off the field. And, I mean, Xander Fagerson said, I've taken bigger shots than that just during training. But it's just the way that they've got it now. But Miller Mills gets to make his way onto the field. This is very early on in the matchup. And Eddie fast tracking, says Fluffy as well. But Pierce Gorman gives the call to Turner at line out time. Now, throw this one in. Took a little while, but nicely claimed by Scotland at the back. In the hands of Grant Gilchrist. Big run from Jack Dempsey. Now, Stain tries to play a halfback. He's knocked that ball on. And England will now have themselves another scrum feed, so we will not have to wait long to see Miller Mills in action. Stain just rushing it a little bit. Got into that breakdown to try and keep the back line alive. And George Ford just got his hands on the forearm and said, nah, you're dropping this one, mate. Already a 10th of the way through this game. It is going to go very quickly, but like I mentioned, we've got France versus Italy tomorrow at 4 a.m. Wouldn't take any talking back from my mouth guard, says Fluffy there as well. Yeah, important game for France and Italy just around the corner. France, if they win it, they could actually progress just a little bit higher up on the Six Nations table. Now, this is the table with the exception of the fact that Ireland are now on 15 points. But other than that, it is very similar with that penalty at scrum time. Will go the way of the English. Went down in the front row. Miller Mills See, that'll frustrate Scotland. Definitely if Ferguson comes back completely fine with no concussion symptoms at all, that's pretty much cost them a penalty straight away. And salute, says Mikhail. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Of course, we've got some sevens later on tonight as well, ladies and gents. Later on today, depending on how you do look at it. Scotland's going through some troubles right now. Calcutta Cup could actually be going south here if we don't get our act together, says Mr. Novel Bro. I have a bad feeling for Scotland. Had them down to win, but not so sure now. Early days, though, says Brian. But line out throw for Jamie George. And I'll be honest, I think that myself, alongside some others, have probably underestimated England for this game. You know, they've had a couple close fixtures, but slowly building their momentum throughout the Six Nations competition. Actually, it was bless you in Spanish, says Mikhail. And there as well, but that is now going to be a loose ball. It's a knock-on from England this time. So now Scotland will have themselves a scrum feed. Now, they've only had one of those throughout this match. They never actually got the ball in, as it was a free kick against Scotland for an early push from George Turner. Nice bit of work from Finn Russell. Be able to defend up against Ben Earl, not an easy task. We've seen that man run through quite a few opposition over the last 12 months or so. It looks like Henry Slade, playing 13, of course. He's quite wide at the moment, looking to defend this Finn Russell random attack that will be coming. At the end of the day, you don't know what Finn Russell's going to do. He could cross kick, he could grub it, he could chip kick, he could just boot the ball into touch. Free kick this time, going the way of Scotland at scrum time. Like they've said, just a little bit of a scrappy start between these two sides. Looks like Scotland will actually accept the fact that that scrum has gone down. And England, says Eric in there. Big kick downfield from Finn Russell. We went for the free kick rather than scrum inside of the 22, 51 metres on that Russell kick. Now going to be passing it back across to Blair Kinghorn. Playing at number 15. We haven't seen that a huge amount for Scotland throughout the Six Nations competition. Ben White, loose ball. Having to try and clean that one up. He's been pushed over there. Rory Darsh. The ball is back in favour of the English. Ollie Chesham goes across to George Furbank, who was first receiver. That is a knock-on now from, I think that was Ollie Lawrence. Wasn't the best pass, though. Hello, Kolkata. Says it Fluffy. And there as well. But yeah, just not quite the pass that George Ford would have been after there. Ollie Lawrence tried his best to regather, but it was just a bit too far out in front of him. Already 11 minutes gone between these two sides. George Ford just having a bit of a huddle. Oh, the backs are having a team talk at the moment. Finn Russell himself often doesn't know what he's going to do until right before he does it. Yeah, and I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. Because when it works, it works. When it doesn't, no one knows how to defend. Like in terms of, if he goes for a cross kick, but no one is back to cover that cross kick, then it can lead to the counter-attack for the opposition. But most of the time, Finn Russell seems to have a relatively good idea of what he needs to do. And also he'll tell like one person so that they know that, right, we need to defend that area of the field. I am going to sneeze, so I will pause. We are good. And now the scrum has not quite happened as of yet. A chance to get our filthy hands on some more subcontinental silverware. Says Eric, and Scotland need to settle down if they don't start playing the kick tennis. Says Brian. Oh, that scrum's moving big time. That's gone fully sideways. Another free kick goes the way of Scotland. Martina Haggis, a fantastic tennis kicker, says Fluffy. Right, they're going to take a free kick again. I don't think Scotland are too keen on the scrums until Xander Fagerson makes his way back out onto the field. Which, to be honest, is fair enough. He is really their main option when it comes to the tight head prop. They've got Miller Mills, who will be the substitute just to get the job done while Fagerson is off. But I don't think Fagerson was concussed at all. So I think he will be back relatively soon. Now rolling this ball back for England. Danny Kerr about to put this one high. Does do so. England chasing it hard. Looks like Jamie George was actually leading the foot race, and Elliot Daly tries to go up and does manage to swat it back. Now Ethan Roots going to be an advantage in favour of the English. I believe that was for a high tackle. Kicked him behind from George Ford. And it's well covered by Kyle Stain. Keeps the ball in the field of play. And now Russell puts it downfield. Does not find touch. Melted down rupees. Must be worth a ton, says Fluffy. High. Furbank turns his back and tries to swat it back. It's nicely taken by Maro Atoje. Ton of porridge, says John. There as well. Now Danny Kerr looked a little bit offside. I think that was Hugh Jones was rushing up quickly for Scotland. Danny Kerr back across to Ethan Roots. Tackle well by Miller Mills. Oh, he's given away the penalty advantage though. Had a pair of those, and what a game. It's the oldest in the world. I cheer for England, says Gianpaolo. Short ball. Once again, Finn Russell has to make the tackle on Ben Earl. Now George Ford, chip in, chase, go on himself, and it's loose. And they will go back for the original penalty there again. Miller Mills. This is costly for Scotland at the moment. The HIA head injury assessment of Xander Fagerson, I believe, has cost Scotland 2 penalties against Miller Mills. Is he back out on the field yet, though? That is the big question, because I'm sure Scotland are waiting for him to come back down that tunnel. And also watching in Cambodia rather than Colombia. And come on, England, says the world there. Lining up the kick, England will opt to go for the 3 points here rather than the 7. Of course, chasing bonus points wouldn't be a bad idea for England at this stage of the competition, because there is a chance, like someone was alluding to earlier on, England theoretically could win all of their games and receive 20 points. Ireland could lose one of their games, and if that was the game to England, and then win the rest of their games, Ireland, even though they have the more wins, less wins, could actually be ahead. That is why they have the 3 extra points available if you get a Grand Slam. And the Six Nations competition. That kick is good from George Ford, though, 15 minutes in, and it is 10-0 to the English. A great start to the contest. That man wearing the English kit is absolutely loving it. He was trying to fire up the Scottish fans in the crowd. Now it's going to be kicked out by England. Not the greatest kick, only getting it to maybe 30 metres out from their own line now. Furbank feeling a little bit of the pressure. Crowd not happy with where the referee said that one's gone out. George Turner now, though, to line up this kick. Xander Fagerson, he has come out of the tunnel. And he's going to be back into this game. That is great news for Scotland. Not so great that he had to go off in the first place. England have managed to take their ball back at line-out time. It was a little bit scrappy from Scotland. Big kick in behind from Danny Kerr, but it's gone out on the full. Our new mouth guards now mandatory, says Johan and Neil. I believe they are. So everyone has to have those electronic mouth guards in. And there must be a little sensor or something that when it starts flickering on the sideline, they have to take certain players off. We saw it in the last game. Josh Van den Flare went off for one. We also saw, I think there were a couple other guys went off for head injury assessments. I don't think anyone actually failed their HIAs. Now the question is, if Xander Fagerson comes back out onto the field, puts in a big hit, and his mouth guard goes, you need to come off again, do they have to take him off if he's just passed an HIA? That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. But thank you very much for your donation as well, Johan. It is greatly appreciated. And Ireland have the most wooden spoons in 5 and 6 Nations history, says Krampus. Not releasing penalty going against Scotland here. The work and the breakdown from Sam Underhill created the turnover chance. Okay, the commentators have just said, I don't think there's any way that Gregor Townsend could have prepared for a worse 17 minutes from Scotland here. I don't know will they craft and keep the guard in their pockets, says Eric. Yeah, I'm wondering what type of numbers they have to register to then get taken off the field, because like we saw, Xander Fagerson was absolutely fine. He was confused at why he was going off the field because he probably took a knock and he was like, that was nothing. So I guess it also depends on how hard the headers of the recipient of the knock. Of course, some players, there's a lot less, I guess, that they can take in terms of punishment. Props are normally built pretty tough, though. Like, they'll take a few knocks and they'll be fine. Mouth guards will be reffing soon. So here's Fluffy. And also when it's England versus Ireland, that is going to be taking place in 2 weeks' time. And there's a chance that both sides are undefeated at that stage of the competition. There was a knock-on, I believe, from England. So now the ball is available for Scotland to start attacking. Grant Gilchrist throws himself at the defensive line. England are just rushing here. And it's effective because once again, Scotland have dropped the ball. I don't think we're seeing a side as aggressive in the defensive tactic as what we're seeing from England here. The question is, though, will Scotland be able to work out a way of getting in behind? Is that where Finn Russell's unpredictability could actually be handy for the Scottish? Now scrum. They won't mind going to it either now that Xander Fagerson is back out on the field. Yeah, Ollie Chisholm. The fact that he was that quick. 10 handling errors. 7 from Scotland, 3 from England. Scotland looking a bit jittery. I think it's this rush defence from England. They're trying to work out how exactly they're going to be able to stop it, because England's tactic here, early on in the game, it will work very well as well, I should mention. But their tactic is just charge. Full steam ahead, goes straight into the Scottish line. Here they go again, charging up. Sione Tuipulotu found the gap though to Hugh Jones, who pins the ears back. Wasn't so effective for the English there. And Duan Fundermerva scores the try for Scotland. That is how you counter rush defence. Player of the match a year ago up against England, I've just mentioned, with the 2 tries, Duan Fundermerva. But England, after the scrum, they all rushed. But the problem was, it was only the backs. So they didn't have those extra numbers of the forward to leave the gaps. That was brilliantly done by Scotland. And I have to say, that will make England a little bit hesitant to do that rush tactic again. Straight through a gap, Tuipulotu ended up luring in 2 defenders. Great offload to Duan Fundermerva from his back, Hugh Jones. And Scotland scored it. Perhaps their decision last week took the wind out of Scottish sails. Oh, wait a second. Says Cool Story Bro, wonderful. Says Eric there, and come on, Scotland an upset. Says Naz Williams, although believe it or not, they came in as favourites for this game, Scotland. About 66% likely to go on and win that one. 20 minutes gone. Scotland to close the gap just a little bit more. Finn Russell, the man who will be trying to line up this kick. And it is effective, straight down the middle for Russell. Now making the score 10 points to 7. An excellent try. And also, yes, you need to be precise against the Scottish centre. Puring, says Miminia. Yeah, unfortunately, England, they had 2 men who just rushed at the same guy. And then Sione Tuipulotu went, okay, outside ball. Hugh Jones straight through the gap. Gregor Townsend, little fist bump. He knows how important that try was for Scotland in this game. But it's kicked off high. Nicely taken by Grant Gilchrist. Oh, that looks like a shoulder injury here for one of the Scottish players. And now, unfortunately, because he was down, George Turner wasn't able to get that turnover. The penalty will be going the way of Scotland, though. Looked like a really awkward just stinger on the top of the shoulder. The Scotland chant is going around the ground. 3 penalties conceded by Scotland compared to the one of the English. So George Turner is actually going to be all right. The way that he stayed down for a start looked like he was possibly going to be down for a little bit longer. Oh, we will go like this. Like that. There we go. Duan Fundermerva scoring the lone try for Scotland and Brain. That is so true. Because booze was banned in Wales, they won the most 5 Nations games. Says, was there from Cool Story Bro? Now Scotland, another line out. This will be George Turner. This will test out the shoulder, having it above his head. This throw in. It's worked out though, uncontested by England, who joined them all early. So he worked away, rushing up Sione Tuipalotu. Managed to make the low tackle on him by Ben Earls, and the penalty goes the way of England once again in the breakdown. Scotland not keeping their ball security. I think it's George Ford that is getting the big high fives from his teammates, but I think Sam Underhill managed to win the not releasing penalty. Henry Slade with his left boot. Quite close this time though. There's Mystic Novel, bro. Ball has gone into touch about 20 metres out from the line for England. Just going to have a look at this one again. Oh, tell you what. Interesting breakdown. Like I said, they need another clear out, but the problem was one of the English players was rolling through, which meant that the Scottish clearers were a little bit later to that breakdown. English press seemed to knock Underhill, says Eric. I think the English press knock most people, don't they? Now getting back up to his feet, Ben Earl wasn't held, so was able to go again. Duan Funda Merva wrestles him into touch. Great strength shown. Ben White was trying to tempt them with a quick throw. Yeah, Wales are hardcore religious. Only wine at church. Says, cool story, bro. You have to keep your ball secure, says Brian. Very good words of wisdom to live by. Wine is booze. Says Krampus, but 16 minutes remaining in this first half. Line out throw for George Turner. Nicely taken there by Scotland. Big rolling maul coming in as well now. Dan Cole has to let go of that one. Or Dan Cole, sorry. I heard his nickname is Orc, says Eric. Scotland, they have this one available. Ben White going across to Xander Fagerson. And now it looks like the kick will be coming in. They have been told to use it. Oh, Xander Fagerson's just had his head crushed there by some English defenders. I think it's Dan Cole causing disruption. At least it's the blood of JC Wright. Says Gus. England now have got themselves the line out. Just one try apiece after the first 25 minutes. A quick pace that this game has been played at. Not too many stoppages. Jamie George now. He's ready to go for the line out, but England are not quite there now. Joining up. And good evening, Amish and the Kiwi lads. Rockers from Cape Town, says Roof. Welcome in. You are doing extremely well. Nicely taken by Ollie Chisholm. Now it goes back across to the left-hand side. Danny Kerr to Ben Earl. Again, Kerr gets it away. I think that's going to be... Who was that? I think that was... Is that Ethan Roots? No, that was Ollie Lawrence, sorry. Who had that ball. Nice inside ball to Ollie Chisholm. Two Ollies. And the starting lineup, Alice Genge taken down low. Scotland has done very well to get out of that breakdown. Scott Cummings. Now Kerr goes off to George Ford. He has been wrestled to the turf by Pierre Schoolman. After the left-hand side, Elliot Daly goes for the little grubber in behind. He's tried to flick it into Kyle Stain. And Elliot Daly saying, give me the ball. Going to have a check of this one more than likely to make sure that it did come off the right person. So Elliot Daly thought that he swatted this one back in. I mean, to be fair, he's hit Kyle Stain in the face with it. But ball was already out. Welcome, Roof. I didn't know they follow rugby in South Africa. Says Eric J. I just got back from work slogging Saturday. Nice to see some good commentary, Amish. And I'm so tired I'm lying down under my duvet with my gin and tonic. Says Roof, but the kick is high from Ben White again. England will not take it quickly this time. 32 metres out from the line. And good afternoon there, Roof. Says Blues Nate. But do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. At the moment, the way that we sit, does seem like it's going to be a relatively close game, although if England can score themselves 1 or 2 more tries, perhaps they will be able to keep on pushing the pace. My prediction was 25-22 in favour of Scotland. A little chip behind does not work for England. And now Duan van der Merwe, the ball's gone through his hands, but it goes backwards. Cole Steyn, tackled by Danny Kerr. Now Finn Russell looking to put a lot of distance on this one. It's covered well by Tommy Freeman. Now runs onto this one, puts it high. He's running to the back of one of the other players though. So that stopped him and his momentum. Kinghorn dragged down by Lawrence. Both sides still really trying to push the pace. Although the English rush defence has gotten a little bit slower and the gaps were starting to open. Finn Russell saw one but then did end up knocking the ball on in the process. High from Ireland, home for a Scottish win. So here's JK. And there as well. So we'll ask the question, JK, is any part of that hoping that Scotland win because England are the other undefeated side in the Six Nations alongside Ireland? Or is it more just you prefer Scotland? To be fair, a lot of people do over the English. Tommy Freeman has to play half back there. Ball bounces out. Ruck security, not the best for England so far throughout this match. And what's the price for an abducted roof on the black market? And Hamish, has the spider gone to sleep? I think it has. It's just chilling up in the corner. It's probably made a web soon. Now Duan van der Merwe, pace on the outside. Bedell won't catch him. Henry Slade won't catch him. Duan van der Merwe gets a double again. Don't know why he scored it the way that he did, Duan van der Merwe. Almost threw himself into touch, but Scotland take the lead. Because nobody likes English. Go on, JK, be honest, says Kerr. And there as well, but Duan van der Merwe has done extremely well. 12 points to 10. Scotland take the lead at Murrayfield. And Kerr said it, says Nars Williams. Years of oppression has more to do with it, says JK. And also fantastic as usual, rocking the rugby, who's going to win. And Van der Merwe says Fluffy there, but it was loose from England. The mistake, and Big Van will be instrumental. Says Robin Ward charging down the wing. Cover from Furbank, he just wasn't quite back there. That is because, once again, of course, if you're going to rush up as the English, even when they're on attack, they've got about 5 or 6 men all rushing forward. You leave space behind you, and Duan van der Merwe charges right. Oh, he almost stepped into touch. That would have been a really dumb way of being a no try if he had. And also we have got there the Spring Jocks in there as well. And also we have got there Man in the Van, says Fluffy, but now Finn Russell to line up this kick. And it has gone over. So Scotland now ahead by 4 points. And this match up. I'll be more than happy with that as well. Definitely because they were 7-0 down after only about 6 minutes in this matchup. Duan van der Merwe showing his pace. Scores it right in the corner. And Russell didn't care that it was in the corner. He's striking them well enough that he is still able to get them over. Now 9 minutes remaining. He was showing off there. He was, but we've seen showing off backfire before. Like he was probably about this close to stepping on the touchline. And if he did, then he would have looked like an idiot. Definitely if Scotland were to lose this game by less than 7 points, Van der Merwe, luckily though, we don't have to say if, because luckily he didn't. Now counter ruck or counter run there from Furbank. England will be a little bit more cautious, I would think. They've tried to kick him behind. It's gone straight into the hands of Blair Kinghorn, who didn't get the distance on it that he was after. Spring Jocks, says Sifo in there as well. Oh, player falling over there. I think it was Elliot Daly trying to milk the penalty. Does not receive it though. Hey, honey, how you doing? Says Kerr to Roof. Now wide cutout pass. Another gap starting to open up. England's defence is falling apart here. There are gaps everywhere. Duan van der Merwe grubbers it forward, but it was a goalkeeper-like save from the English number 10. Duan van der Merwe pointed at him and said, "You just got lucky, mate." Almost a first half hat-trick for Duan van der Merwe. Kicks it there. Nice work from George Ford. The reflex to put his boot out to the side and cut it off. How you doing? Says a fluffy. Nice work there. Duan for hits and tricks. Says Blues, Nate, hang on. Was there something there? A little bit of a, was it a foot trip? I know they've said it's good. And kick save and a beauty, says Gus. Time is back on now, though. Visits to the opposition 22. Scotland have only visited twice, but they have scored every time. Whereas England, they have visited 4 times. They have only scored the once. Now stolen at line out time, but stolen back straight away by, I believe it was Scott Cummings. Penalty try, Scotland a rear card. England shocking decision, says Kerr in there as well. Ball's available for Scotland. Xander Fagerson joins the breakdown. George Ford is dreadful again, says Jack. I don't think it's so much like his mistakes. I think it's just this backline at the moment. Like George Ford, he did have a couple of rough passes early, but there's been a lot of missed tackles for England, which are not just George Ford, that have left the gaps for Scotland to run through. Blair Kinghorn going for the cross kick. Goes backwards to Duan van der Merwe, and it's gone out, but they did have the advantage, Scotland. They will be able to go right back for the original penalty. And boom, there goes the Scottish. They probably saw me coming and thought, we better get going, says Ruth. This time, Ethan Roots going to be penalised for offside. What does Finn Russell decide on here? I think that they will take the 3 points. It's probably the right decision in this one for Scotland. What's the greatest game you've ever seen, Amish? I know it's going to sound really bad, but because we do so much commentary of matches, it's very easy for me to forget games like that I've covered. But I know that we've covered some absolutely awesome ones on the channel. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, there's been some good seesaws. I always enjoy a seesaw, one that goes back and forth. I got $1,000,000 rupees on Scotland to win. Go for the 7, says Kerr. Looks like Russell taking on the 3. So we'll give them a 7-point lead. But is it going to be enough? That is the big question. 34 minutes through. Even though the scoreboard says 38, it's about £7. Says Krampus, I'm pretty impressed to see Pommies were in front. Says Ruth. Now 5 minutes remaining. Crowd marching up. Well, England, they have to fire up here for the final moments. Got dramatic music. Oh no, I think that's my Spotify. England managing to take that one back 25 metres out from Scotland's line. This game's just getting thrown at the opposition. Now a nice short pass. Ethan Roots, he's had a busy start to this contest. Danny Kerr going back across to the right-hand side. Big shot on Freeman. Taken well by Gilchrist. 2 tries already for Scotland. 2 more would give them the bonus point, which I'm sure will make them very happy. Maro Atoje. Very well there. Make a couple extra metres back into the pocket. England's going for a drop kick here. George Ford, he's got it over. And they'll get the 3 points. It didn't look like there was much of an attack flowing for the English. Now, I should mention they have won all their games of the Six Nations so far. They have not got a bonus point for scoring 4 tries in any of those games. Which side's favourite to make it to the final and win? Well, there's no final in the Six Nations, but currently out of these 2 sides, I mean, Scotland are considered favourites in terms of the odds. England probably do have the better chance of winning the Six Nations, though, because they have won their first 2 games. Scotland, to be fair, have also won their first 2 games. It's just the second game, the Irish TMO didn't think so. Okay, how's the crowd boos? Ford shapes to drop, says Eric J. I should have taken the 7 instead of the 3 wimps, says Kerr. And I think that they may come to regret those 3 points rather than going for the 7 because they had them under pressure. And, I mean, you've got to make sure you keep that pressure flowing when you've got it Danny Kerr kicking that one way downfield. It's gone into touch. Okay, not quite as much distance on that kick as it did look like there was. About 40 metres out now from the line. Scotland have got the throw star trekking across the universe, and good score now, 17-10. Scotland can score again before halftime. It'll be good, says O'Brien. Now England within a try of being back in the lead. George Turner going to be lining up this kick. Lining up this line out. I keep saying that. I think I said that in the last game too. I said that about Dan Sheehan taking the three. Isn't the Scottish mentality go big or go home? Big run from Tui Palotu. Been looking good throughout this first half. Ben White, short ball to Pierce Scorman. I know, tell you what, Kurt, if it was Glasgow, they would have gone for the 7. You can guarantee that. Then, like you said, it is a bit weird that Scotland went for 3 instead. Maybe trying to play the English at their own game, although saying that England will normally play it a little bit better in terms of getting those 3-pointers. A big kick downfield from England. Duan van der Merwe. In fact, it's going to be Kyle Stain who has to try and cover that one. Big shot on in by Dan Cole. Ball's protected. And hey, Ola Humano says the Blues, Nate. It's close, says Ruth. By Ben White. Nice drop goal. I think that might be because England are running out of attacking ideas. Now it's going up and under for George Ford. Nicely taken by Finn Russell inside of the 22. Calls the mark. And we'll have a bit more time to be able to get ready. Kick this one downfield, closest 4 points. In it now, come on people, let's go. Says Roof. And both of these sides, when you look at their previous results, they have not had a game split by more than 5 points. In fact, more than 4 points. So if this was the full-time score, it would actually be similar to what we've seen for these two sides already. Of course, France, most recent game for Scotland, 4 points difference. England, 2-point win over Wales, 3-point win over the Italians. And more drop goals now, says Krampus. I mean, we saw it up against Argentina. I think they managed 3 drop goals at the World Cup, if I'm correct. It's a tactic that England may actually look to use if it seems like it's open and they can't break through this Scottish defence. But the problem there is if they do go for the drop goals, of course, they're getting 3 at a time, whereas if Scotland can start scoring, which is where that line-out could have been quite handy for them, then England will always be playing the catch-up game. They're showing Gerard Butler in the stands. Watching on for this contest. 30 seconds remaining, though, in this first half. Jamie George. Oh, the double seller, the dummy at line-out time from the English, claimed by Maro Itoje. Now start to roll towards the Scottish 22, and this is an effective rolling maul. Scotland trying to shut it down. It's the same maul, but Ben Earl decides to break off the back. England are able to get some form of points before halftime. Will help them get back into this contest, and drop goals make the opposition nervous, says Krampus. Now short ball. George Ford almost went through the gap there, Lawrence. Back to the left again. And keep going, folks. Let's get some more gin and tonic. Oh, it's a knock on from Danny Kerr. And that will now be halftime between these two sides. 17 points to 13. The first try of the contest went to England, but from there, Duan van der Merwe able to get himself 2 tries back to back and give Scotland the 4-point lead. But we will get some stats to do with this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the benches, of course, will be a pivotal part of how this match ends up playing. What is a drop beer, says Krampus. If you're in Australia, you'll know. They're pretty dodgy things. They sit up in trees. They're kind of like a koala. And then when you go under the tree, they jump on you and rip your eyes out. There you go. That spider's still up in the corner. He's just chilling. Or she. Sitting patiently. Any foods you can't eat anymore, guys? So you've got an older. Says, cool story, bro. And a very angry Australian woman. And halfway through the Six Nations now. Who would you pick for the Lions squad, says JK? Ooh. I mean, of course, you'd have a few Irish players in there. I feel like that's a given. For Wales, I see it's still a wee way away, isn't it? Because, of course, you've got those young guys for Wales. Like, that's pretty much their whole team at the moment. So, a few Scottish players. Duan van der Merwe, I think, will get in there. Finn Russell? I don't know. I feel like it depends on what tactic they want to use. Will Crowley be the 10 or will Russell? Or what will the system be? Spanish festivals was good tonight. So hard not to look at all those hot Latino ladies, says Blues Nate. And also beers hiding in the trees. Please tell me what sugar and pizza tastes like. I couldn't tell you. I mean, people who like pineapple on pizza, I just haven't had it enough to know what it really tastes like, pineapple on pizza. But that would be sweet, so that would be like sugar. I saw WWE Elimination Pay-Per-View in Perth. I did not, so no spoilers coding if you can avoid it, please. Would be greatly appreciated. A bit dull for the first half, says Brian. I'm riffle for Wales and doing something unmentionable in the woods, says Eric J. But speaking of sporting and whatnot, coding, did you see the cricket score? I don't expect India to be 7 down at the end of day 2. I thought that they were really set with Jaiswal at the start batting well, but nope. They ended up losing those quick fire wickets as well. But position at the moment, 56% in favour of the away side, England. And this one, unless the pineapple is still sour and tangy, says Mimania. Yeah, a bit of unripe pineapple. Perhaps, it cater for all tastes, says Eric J. Meters made, 190 for Scotland compared to the 170 that we have seen of the English. 3 line breaks for England compared to 2 of Scotland. And defenders beaten pretty even, 10 for England, 9 for the Scottish. 14 handling errors, I should say, for England, which is just way too many. But it hasn't cost them too much. Only 4 points down going into half-time. Discipline as well. It's been 4 penalties conceded by Scotland, 2 against the English. So this was actually a pretty free-flowing half of rugby as well. Great chance for England to make it 2-2. I hope they do, just because then going down to the wire, I feel like that would be the perfect way to finish that series, seeing as there have been the ups and downs for both sides. Yeah, England actually favourites at the moment to go on and win that game. We'll have to wait and see whether that happens. I feel like India always have a chance of firing back, though. Like, at the end of the day, like, that last innings will be the big decider for them. Imagine being attacked by a koala, says Krampus. It happens, you know. Like, not so much koalas, though. It's got to be a drop bear. Koalas are a bit too timid, I would say. But I think they've got claws, so they'd probably rip you about if they had to. Far throughout this half, though, we've seen 2 tries from Duan van der Merwe and also George Furbeck, the man who was able to score in the first half for the English. But a few games around the corner for these two sides. First of all, looking at Scotland, they haven't got a huge amount of games confirmed. So, they've got Italy in 2 weeks' time, then they've got Ireland to close out their Six Nations campaign on the 17th of March. It's quite a shame, because that is only 3 weeks away from the end of the Six Nations competition. I was kind of hoping, I know it sounds weird, but I was hoping it was going to be longer, even though I know it's not. It's just time's going by too quick. We're already halfway through the Six Nations competition, and that's quite sad, to be fair. But, yeah, we're actually exactly halfway through the Six Nations at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Just around the corner, plenty more action, of course, for England. They've got the game up against Ireland that will be taking place in 14 days' time. Then they play France to close out their Guinness Six Nations campaign. Warm-up game up against the Japanese for international rugby before they play the All Blacks twice. That is going to be an entertaining July series. Have to wait and see exactly how it ends up going. They snuck up on me. And also explain the chlamydia K, says Fluffy. And we have got there, if you can eat anything besides oats, chicken breast and green beans, enjoy. You don't know what you've got till it's gone, says Cool Story Bro. And has gone way out of the Test series as well. I don't think he's out of the Test series, but they're going to be leaving him out of the game tomorrow. So I think they've got Tim Seifert in there as the wicket keeper. But yeah, that game is actually only 6.5 hours away from taking place. Match up between the Black Caps and Australia. And next live stream for the Sevens, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be taking place in, it is 3.5 hours time. So I was talking about it earlier on that I was considering trying to get some sleep before those live streams take place, but I don't actually think I'll end up getting enough time to have any rest. So more than likely we'll just be staying up now for the rest of the day. Now tomorrow we have also got the Sevens, and also we've got the Six Nations game between France and Italy. To be sure to keep an eye out for that as well. Yeah, the quarterfinals of Vancouver Sevens, for anyone who is curious, starts at 3:22 p.m. There are also the 9th place semi-finals that will be taking place prior to that at 2:38, as well as 3 p.m. So depending on who's in those games will depend on if we are covering them. Currently in the standings for Vancouver. I've just realised you guys might not also follow Sevens. So I was about to give you a whole heap of a rundown. The Sevens department, some people might not actually care. Will you not cover New Zealand versus Australia T20? We will not know, because it will be overlapping with the Sevens that we will already be covering. And also alongside that, earlier on at the start of that game, I think we're out and about with the family. So that's why I'll miss that one. As well, busy day for Kiwi lads. Rugby Sevens plus Six Nations. Sears Blues, Nate. Yeah, I would say we're about I'd say a 2/6 of the way, no, the third is what that would be. I'd say we're about a third of the way through the weekend of streaming that we have got ahead of ourselves. We've still got, like I mentioned, those Sevens live streams starting at 10:05 a.m. That'll be the game between Ireland and South Africa. Then we've got USA, Samoa, Argentina, Fiji. We've got all of the quarterfinals, the Six Nations, and then all the matches that are taking place tomorrow and these Sevens as well. And hello, says Eric, welcome in. And I will sell solar panels in South Africa, says Krampus. And there as well. Our second half just around the corner. Scotland have a 68% chance of being able to win this match according to the live win probability, compared to England's chance of winning, which is only 29%. So 4 points, it's not a big difference between these two sides. And if England can score early, we'll change the game. But I believe they're sitting almost at the exact odds as they were at the start of this matchup, ladies and gents. Wait and see whether or not it stays that way when someone else scores. Do you like Sprite or Mountain Dew soft drink? I would much prefer Sprite out of the two. I think I've only had Mountain Dew once. But, yeah, I'd rather go with Sprite if I had to. Just showing a replay of a cup final between Fiji and New Zealand from way back in the day. First half, I believe, ended at just after 6:30, which means we've probably still got another 4 minutes or so of half-time. I think I'm having a meltdown right now. How come? Eric J. We don't just do rupees. Why don't international commentators learn the correct pronunciation for South African names beforehand? Hamish is more professional than them. Says, cool story, bro. There are a few that get mispronounced. I'll be honest, I mispronounce some names as well. But the good news is I've got you guys who can give me feedback on that. Like, you'll tell me you said that one wrong or you butchered that one. And that is kind of like the best type of feedback you can have, because it's just pretty much straight away and you're like, okay, I'll do it from now on. They weigh about a ton and climb trees quicker than a marine, says Krampus. Long Island all over again. And yes, it was nice to see community of South Africa in Oz also sharing their culture foods. Also continue tomorrow, we're going again, says Blues Nate. And there as well. Duan van der Merwe, definitely the pick of the players out there on the field for Scotland. If I had to pick a player who stood out throughout that first half for the English, I'll probably go with Sam Underhill, just because he has been the most effective, I would say, in the breakdown. That is a big yawn, ladies and gents. I'm going to try and stretch. I feel like there's no way of stretching without just looking weird. Greetings, Hamish, from a sleep-deprived man in Ireland. Son still isn't sleeping through the night. See the mountains of asylum. It's probably how my dad feels at the moment. He'll be saying his son doesn't sleep through the night. I wish you use metric, says Fluffy. Plenty more coming up. Mountains of Asylum. So if you are randomly awake at a weird hour, we will probably be live on the channel. So don't be afraid to pop in and say hello. You've earned that yawn. He's been watching the cricket, says Eric J. Yeah, I was watching my team play today. They did lose, unfortunately, but it's all right. Still went all right. But yeah, we're running off very, very limited amounts of sleep. I also came back from a wedding yesterday, so there was a lack of sleep that night as well. So we're probably going to crash at some point, but for now we're awake and we're here. Kirsten is in the chat. It said, "Hi Hamish, welcome in." And Cocaine Beer says Krampus, and also Scottish Highlander in front, chased by the angry bulldog. And also Ted says Krampus. I'm in the strip club again. Well, hopefully you're having fun. I don't think you're allowed a phone in the strip club, Kirsten. I thought that was like a rule that they had. And how many runs or time you spend at the crease in the cricket? Well, I didn't play, so 0 minutes, but we probably sat down there and watched for about 3 hours or so. I pretty much, from the time that my last 7 stream ended, I went to the cricket and then came back in time for the Fiji and Drua Blues game. We have got, hey, you are stand free Wi-Fi, says Kirsten. And also Hamish's Will O'Rourke T20. I think he could be a very good option for them, definitely because a lot of our bowlers have been getting hit recently. So I think that they might even bring him in for this one, if he's available, that is. Both sides just about to make their way out of the tunnel for the second 40 minutes in this contest. See that England, the away side, they're getting a few ironic jeers from the crowd. Just made a nice halftime cocktail for my wife. Have to keep her happy. Just a joke, brother. I'm looking after my daughter this weekend. Says Kirsten, well, I really hope you haven't brought her to the strip club. And good day, Brian. Well, good job, Brian. Says a Krampus there. I went to the strip club for my birthday 2 days ago in Darwin. What is the Darwin strip club like? I feel like Darwin's always known as that kind of one pushed to the side, so hopefully it wasn't too dodgy. I've got there. I was surprised by Seifert not included in the squad, but Young played. And how many hours have you been going at this today, Marathon Man? I think we're only up to like our 8th hour. Somewhere around there. So it's not too bad in terms of the amount of hours. It's more just the amount of hours we've been awake alongside it. That is starting to add up. And Russell just having a bit of a chat with Andrew Bracewell there, the referee. Second half just around the corner. Happy B-Day, Kerr, says Krampus in there. I haven't got the guitar. I can't play you happy birthday, Kerr. I also can't sing. But we will wish you a happy birthday, of course. And so proud, says Krampus. Thank you, says Kerr. Hamish is used to these situations, nothing new, says Cody. It's going to be kicked off by Scotland. And missed tackle already from Kyle Steyn, who didn't have the best first half. He had the handling errors. He also missed a couple of tackles along the way. But it's going to be important in the second half for England to have a lot less handling errors. Scotland didn't give away too many penalties. 21 years old, says Kerr. You're 21, Kerr. We'll go with that. Somewhere around there anyway. You don't look a day over 20. To be fair, we didn't recognise you when you were on the ship because you did look very different to how I thought you would, even though I've seen like a very small picture of you. I can't even remember how old you actually are, but I feel like you look about 10 years younger than it. Most strip clubs have creatures these days. Sure, any girl in the wedding for you? Nah, most of them were either a relative or were with someone else. That's a great kick. Right to the corner from Finn Russell. Don't think it's going to be a 50-22, but means that England will have to be right deep in their own territory. Food is delicious, hot and spicy, those chicken wings. Thrown long, England take it well. Shut down very early by George Turner and Rory Darge. Fun fact, I searched South Africa versus England because I was feeling nostalgic. In the stream, showed up, says Hirsch. Oh. Fair play, well, welcome into the stream. Hope you are doing very well. Spring Jocks, Sifo's back. Now, kicks that one into touch. Great pressure being put on by the Scottish defence. Line out throw now. Going to be close to the try line if they can get this rolling ball going. Redpath. He is now going to be on the field as well for Scotland. I'm not too sure who he has replaced. It's a workplace, okay? Says Fluffy. Turner to throw this ball in. Goes to the back. Nicely taken by Scotland. The crowd are really starting to shout behind them. And Murrayfield, Ben White. He's asking for a few more players to come and join. Kyle Stain is one of the ones who does. Ben White getting held by Maro Itoje. Wasn't able to wrestle his way free. And Tui Piloto, oh, that's a big change to make for Redpath, seeing as probably not quite the same attacking runner as what you see from Sione Tui Piloto. They've got numbers to the left-hand side here. Scotland, if they want to use them for a start, though, it looks like they are using their forwards. George Turner, 10 metres out from the line. Have there been any punch-ups today? There have been no punch-ups, no. But, you know, there's still time. So we might see one. And he was hurt, says Gus. Going back to the right-hand side, George Turner again. They're up to 7 phases now. Ben White almost went through. Shut down by his officer number, Danny Kerr. England flopping all over that breakdown. Should be a penalty advantage here, but Scotland have got their ball out the back. I mean, told no hands. Maro Itoje was trying to search for that ball. Up here, Scoorman. Do you think Warner didn't play the second T20 because he was badly booed in the first T20 by the crowd? No, not at all. And another penalty this time going to England. Just out from their try line, they survived, guys. You have no idea, like Welsh arcades of the original Street Fighter and Space Invaders only. Both sides need 16 points each. 33-29. Yeah, my prediction was 25-22, wasn't it? The roof is missing, says Krampus. Okay, the commentator has just said what I was mentioning about how England are just throwing men down. Even the players off their feet, just flopping over the breakdown to try and stop the quick ball of Scotland. And at the moment, they haven't been penalised for it. So they're going to keep on doing it, I would think, until a penalty does go against them. But Henry Slade just getting a bit of heavy strapping on that right boot. Four points difference. 2 tries away from a bonus point for Scotland, 3 tries away for England. At the moment, I don't think that the English will be able to get there, mainly because in their past 2 games, they also have failed to cash in on the opportunity of a bonus point. So it will be George Ford. Kick this one into touch. Get some decent distance on it as well there. George Ford, territory gain of 29 metres. Henry Slade and his orchestra. Says Eric J. Jamie George. This rolling maul of England has been good throughout this matchup, and their line-out has been working nicely. Oh, that one's stolen by Scotland. I jinxed that about as badly as I could have. Now Finn Russell looking for the cross kick. It's hit the back of Ollie Lawrence. So now Scotland retreat. Redpath goes straight up the middle, the youngster. And he's gone again, almost managing to step through the defence of Furbank. Chipped in behind, cross kick, Duan van der Merwe, it sits up for him, and Scotland have another one. And he has celebrated that big time. Van der Merwe, the counter-attack from the Scottish. They are now one try away from their bonus point. There goes $300. I have no 33 to 29. Oh, wait. And Duan scored, says Hirsch, so that is now his hat trick in this matchup. Duan van der Merwe in 45 minutes being able to bring up the 3 tries in a row. It's the only Scottish player to score in this match. But it came from a line-out steal of the Scottish. Then it was an awkward charge down, but Redpath gets the space, just the ankle tap from Furbank, but quickly recycled. Russell was calling for it, picture perfect. Cross kick, the bounce was favourable, and Duan van der Merwe smiling big time. He knows that that's the hat-trick, and he knows that that now gives Scotland a very good lead in this contest. Oh, Duan van der Merwe now 1 try away from matching Stuart Hogg for the all-time try-scoring record of Scotland. He could do it today with the amount that he has already scored and the amount of time remaining. But Finn Russell now to line up this kicker has gone over, making the score 24 points to 13. England may need a bonus point to be able to walk away with the victory here. Scotland only 1 try off being able to receive a full 5 points if they walk away with the victory. Van der Merwe showing great pace. And they read it well. Was fired up there. Duan van der Merwe. Be kicked off again. But nice and high and well taken. That was almost taken out in the air by Tommy Freeman running through. But Scotland have still got possession just inside of their 22. And swerving Mervyn and hats and tricks for Mondevan, says Blues Nate. And Finn got hit after the kick, says Gus. And try a tuxedo, says Eric J. We've actually worn a suit on these live streams before. And then when we don't wear them, people say, where's the suit? And when we wear it, they say, why are you wearing a suit? So you can't really win, unfortunately. The more South Africans playing in overseas teams, the happier World Rugby is. Says Cool Story Bro, and that was bloody brilliant, says Brian. Yeah, they've scored some very good tries so far throughout this game, Scotland. Continuing that with the third of Van der Merwe there, but the rolling maul of England now find themselves down by 11. Danny Kerr is actually off the field. They have made the change. They want to switch it up, and here we go. Already one of the subs is having a bit of an impact, that being Martin. So now Ben Spencer is actually the halfback. Duan van der Merwe, a real Scottish name, says Mark. I think it's originally Dutch, if I'm correct, for Mark Smith, when you really look back through the origins. Six Nations hat-trick are a rare affair. Our last one I remember was Brian O'Driscoll against the French. So he has Mountains of Asylum. Back across to the right-hand side. It's going to be another advantage, but no clear release of the tackler. Quick hands, goes to Stain. And they'll go back for the original penalty. And have a hot chocolate, Amish. It's good for exhaustion. And I'm jealous. You will have a great night. Treat them with love and respect, and they will give you all that love back. You seem very friendly, and it's fun. And fun, it's a perfect match. Amara Toje, so English, says Kerr. Now, do England go for the 3? They can't really afford to, because a 3-pointer will still put them down by 8. Look at their Six Nations team coached by ex-backs are better to watch, says Eric Davison. Oh, hang on. TMO. What do we got? It's a neck roll by the sounds of it. Vuda Morva is Scotland's best player, says Cool Story Bro. Right, they're going upstairs for something here. We're about to find out. Oh, okay, well, it was just a straight shoulder charge from Alice Genge. Not really an arm wrap, just flying in. Okay, they're going to check this one for Alice Genge. To be fair, he shoulder charges his teammate. So, like, it's not great, but he shoulder charges his own team. So, I don't think you can penalise him for hitting his teammate, can you? Yeah, it's his own player. It's what they've just realised. So, yeah, yes, it looks bad. And if he connected with a Scottish player, it would have been bad. Then, yeah, because he hit his own guy, it's fine. So you can punch your own player, and because he's your own guy, you're fine. Sweet as. Red card says Grumpus, red card, reckless. Says Kerr there. England are taking the 3. What are they doing? This doesn't help England that much. Suit for special occasions, I appreciate it. When you wore a suit for a few World Cup games, receipt for the game. I felt sorry for you wearing tight suit all game and commentating. Says Brian. And to be honest, it was getting pretty hot by the end of those live streams in the suit, mainly because of the fact that most of those games going right down to the wire. The kick is good. It's going to make the score 24. Oh, that's an interesting one, but the score at the moment is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, one moment. We will go like this. We'll just scroll down. We'll just get rid of that. There we go. Only 49 minutes played. It's going to be the knock on here, though, from George Martin. It's an open space. You should shoulder charge your teammate. Both should get a yellow card. Or if you shoulder charge your teammate. Go England, says Mark Smith. And quick 6 minutes, says a Krampus. Yeah, we are only 50 minutes through, though. They are a little bit too far ahead in terms of that overall clock. The Scotland, they are deep inside of England's 22 now. Scotland have visited England's 22 5 times, and they have scored 4 tries in doing so. Oh, sorry, 3 tries in doing so. Whereas England have been in quite a bit. Don't care what you say, England will win the next Rugby World Cup, says Mark Smith. And punching teammates happens regularly in soccer. A game of hairdressers, says Eric, and boil a few eggs. Just for fun, or could get some eggs. I mean, it's 7 a.m, so nowhere's open because I'm from a small town. But after the stream, we might be able to find some breakfast. Are you selling tickets to your comedy show? Bit brutal, Kerr, but yeah, good point. Well done, Crumpus, says Crumpus. And nice lisp, K, says Eric. I don't think I have a lisp that I know of. What's the hypotenuse of a boiled egg? No idea, Fluffy. Commentary is great, mate. Thanks. Says Trev, thank you very much. Currently scrumpy once again for Scotland. Just outside of the 5 metre line, about 15 metres out. This is a really good chance they've got. Finn Russell directing traffic just straight behind the scrum. It's a solid one, but they will go off to Redpath. Decides he wants to play the crash ball runner, similar to Sione Tuipulotu was in the starting lineup. Big shot coming in. Duan Whanamurva regathers that ball, finds the pass on the outside of Kyle Stain. Scotland chasing the bonus point now. Am I the only one who thinks Duan looks like Buzz Lightyear? I can see it, although Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles, a lot closer, I think, anyway. Now, looks like we got some sort of problem here. Dan Cole might have been a deliberate knockdown, was it? Oh, no, there was a knock on, but Dan Cole was talking trash to the ref. So he said, if you do that again, I'm gonna reverse the decision. And England not showing much ambition with the kicks, but maybe it'll work for them, says Brian. Yeah, it's a very negative mindset to go for a 3-pointer when you're outside of 8 points or outside of 7 points, even with the kick going over. Will you accept reverse charges? Says Fluffy, and Ireland is going to be top for a while. They are unbeatable at the moment. Says Howie, in the Six Nations scheme of things, I think they will be a very hard side to beat, that is for sure. Got their big tour up against South Africa taking place in July. Boiled egg comment is a math reference. There we go. I did not pick that. Although saying that, I have been awake for a lot of hours, so maybe my brain is running a bit slow. Jamie Ritchie taken off the field alongside George Turner. Both men how long to boil an egg. Depends if you like a runny middle or not. If you want a runny yolk, a little bit less time than a hard-boiled egg. And battery is the Statellite A. It's going to now be penalty going the way of England. Worcester sauce, not relevant. I just wanted you to say it. Did I say it correctly? Or did I say it badly? Worcester sauce? I'm worried I've said it wrong now. I think I've said it wrong. I don't think I've said enough letters. How big is your ego? My ego? I think we normally get size 7 eggs. Good job. Says girl, was it completely wash your sister sauce? Says Howie. And 3 minutes for a chicken egg, 22 minutes for an ostrich egg. How have we got onto eggs in the chat? But the thing is, everyone's involved, which I mean is great to see. Just everyone's got a passion for eggs, I guess. Now rolling more there for England. And now I feel like I've said it wrong. Worcester? Was that what I said the first time? Going back across, Ben Spencer finds the hands of Ellis Genge. Still 25 minutes remaining. To the left-hand side. England, will they go for another defensive play like a dropkick? There will be a knock-on there against the Scottish, I believe, although they might call it a charge down, do they? Yeah, they do. I was building you up to it, says Kerr. I don't think my brain's working anymore. Or Worcestershire sauce, says the Sphinx. Now Cunningham himself will make his way onto the field, and Will Stewart the same, replacing Dan Cole. Not too sure who the other change is for the English. Looks like it is actually going to be Sam Underhill. Day has done. He's had a very good game though. He's got it in the breakdown multiple times. Has won penalty turnovers for his side. They are not 60 minutes through the contest, I should mention. They are a little bit behind, 55 minutes through at the moment. The way that it sits. And my eggplant are getting big, says James Dalton. It's a good time of the year to grow them, I think. Bit of water around, bit of sunlight as well. Does an eggplant a world of good. Courgettes. We had a massive courgette in the backyard the other year. It was like 5 years ago. 1 sock cutter, he cut socks. 2 sock cutters, they cut socks. 3 sock cutters, they cut socks. Oh, I think I'm supposed to say that a little bit quicker, aren't I? I think smiling actually helped, though. Now Scotland. Another carry here for them. Ben White going off to the left-hand side, almost through Jack Dempsey. We haven't said that man's name since about 5 minutes into this contest. Ben White back across again this time to the replacement flanker. Our Hugh Jones running sideways. Goes for the grubber in behind. It will go into the in-goal area. They'll go back for the original penalty. Can Ireland be champions as it stands? At the moment, they certainly go a lot closer to it if Scotland are able to get themselves the victory here. Or if you're Scotland, do you be annoying and get a 3-pointer just to annoy the English because they took the 3? Or I think you go for the corner here. They've got to go for the corner. They've taken on the 3 points. Okay. So they've done it because I think England did it. But, they still want that bonus point at some stage, I would think, Scotland. Feel like the Six Nations will be better set up if England wins this game. That sets up an interesting match in Twickenham between England and Ireland. Then Ireland can wipe the floor with them. Says Trev. What? Says Mark Smith. What was that to, Mark? Whereabouts are you watting? You put I, and then that was it. And then you put what? Did you just, what yourself? This will be a huge win for Scotland. Certainly would be. That kick has gone over. Why would they take 3 when they can easily take 7? Says Kerr, but the kick is successful. 27 points to 16 now. In favour of the Scottish. Hamish, you handled the sock cutter better than the friend of mine on his live stream. That one ended exactly as the commentator intended, or the commentator intended. Much to everyone's enjoyment. Says Mountains. I can see why it would be tricky to say. And it means they keep possession from kickoff. Says Eric. Now on the halfway line, big shot again. We have Minor in the chat, easy with the PG. That accent, his is bloody awful. I think that is from Kevin. That spelling is bloody awful, Kevin. Now going back into the pocket, Ben White. On a Finn Russell with a spiral punt down the middle of the field. Cleaned up at the back by George Ford, who really needs to take just the role of fly half and playmaker a little bit more for England in the second half. We haven't seen enough of him deciding exactly where to go. A worse sister sauce, says James. Now, nice run from Elliot Daly. Ball on the inside to Lawrence. Tries to spin out of the tackle attempt to Hugh Jones. Forces him a little bit closer to the touchline. Will Stewart. That's what Scotland doing well, says Brian. Yeah, they're working extremely well throughout the second half. And also, that first half to be in the lead at halftime after conceding that first try. We put high Elliot Daly. Oh, and they've been able to take it cleanly. Kyle Stain actually was the cushion for Blair Kinghorn to land on. You see here who were the people who talked all the time in class like me, says Kusturi, bro. Rolling it back, Ben White. Now puts it high. That's going to be contested again. Kyle Stain just misses out. He's had one of those games that nothing's quite gone his way, but he's still out there. The clock has run on the app, says Connor. And Mount Isa is closing, no goals. And hello, says Mark. Hello, Mark. Elliot Daly plays halfback. In fact, no, sorry, it was Spencer. Is it playing halfback for that breakdown? Has accidentally stood on one of the Scottish players, cutting himself, throws himself at the line. Tackled by the replacement hooker. Will Stewart ripped the ball away there. Stripped, charged down. It's back and forth at the moment, but now Finn Russell has space to be able to boot this one downfield. Bounces towards the touchline there a little bit more. Elliot Daly inside of his 22. Will kick this one downfield and puts it into touch. New Zealand played great against Ireland in the World Cup. To be fair to them, any given Sunday, any of the top teams can beat each other. Draw is tough on Ireland, says Trev. And oops, sorry, my bad. Says a Blues neighbour. Great strip. And then great charge down. It's going to be one of those games I feel that could come down to one little mistake. And score does not represent the game. England did nothing, or have done nothing, since the 10 minutes, says Kerr. And the fact that they aren't willing to go for the 7-pointers as well makes me think that if they aren't slightly more aggressive throughout this last 20 minutes, they might find themselves just trying to chase this game completely. And surely Borthwick will change some back soon. I think he's just made one. Yep, Fletcher Smith now on to, Finn Smith, I should say, onto the field for George Ford. And imagine a Scots Rugby player pole dancing. That's an interesting thought, Ruth. And I Hamish Power back on now, so kind of our government. So glad to see Scotland, and nothing better than seeing Scotland beat England. So here's HM. And going to wear his kilt and Speedos. Says the Roof. 19 minutes remaining. Scotland still chasing that bonus point. They are one try off being able to get there. Just seeing some of the highlights of Duan Fundermurray. He's had some great support runs today, and it has certainly helped them. I just said 3 great tries. England needs a try. Says Neo de la Cruz. They certainly do, but they keep on going for the 3-pointers. Which haven't really allowed them to catch up too much throughout this game. Scotland looks like an awkward breakdown. Oh, Ben Earl, does he? No, didn't get the turnover for the English. Their rush defence has really slowed down for England. They are trying their best to be able to defend it. Scotland slowly making the meters. People don't know that it's rare for Scotland to beat England. Says goes through, bro, and England are clinging on in every game they play. Been like that since early last year. No shame in it. It happens. But let's be realistic. Says Kerr. And handstands and kilts is a no-no. Says James. Probably wouldn't be recommended. Now rolling back this one, it will be Ben Spencer. Wondering what Finn Smith can do at 10, because you'd assume that he would have been told to go out there and try and play a little bit more attacking than they have been. Kyle Stein finds the offload to Blair Kinghorn. Now back, Finn Russell looking for the 50-22, but there is cover back there with Finn Smith. Was inside of the 22. Great kick from him. Brilliant kick for the first one of the day. I get the meaty lamb chops out and see those Bulldogs come running try line. See his Roof. And England have dropped again. Marla's on. Says Eric. Yeah, currently 17 minutes remaining. The time is ticking very fast. Last game, they did win by 2 points. Game prior to that, they won by 3. This game, is there a 1-point victory for the English? Is that the trend that we could see? Ben White has been taken off. That is for George Horn. And great line out claimed by the Scottish. Across to Jack Dempsey. Taken by his opposite number, Ben Earl. Horn. Back to the right-hand side. The commentators are just mentioning that they need to change their tactic here, England, or else they will lose this game. They haven't been aggressive enough. They've been going for those high kicks. 90% of the time, they haven't retained the ball. It's a good thing that they started quickly. They do in the France match tomorrow. We certainly are, alongside a lot of the sevens that has taken place. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. J-Mo George has dropped that one. Just nicknamed him. I didn't mean to do that. Now the knees are down. Maratoja, he's lost the scrum cap. Want to show off the new haircut. Penalty to Scotland, though. He joined the breakdown. Maratoja, he missed Miller Mills. Went in and got it. You spoke English good. Says cool story, bro. And England seem to be at the same level as Italy right now. C level. Says Eric J. Right. Finn Russell, if he lines up this kick, that will give them a 14-point lead. But at the same time, Scotland need a bonus point. They've gone for the 3 again. I can understand why. But at the same time, if they want a chance of still winning the Six Nations competition, and I'm not saying that that is completely doable, but let's say, for argument's sake, if Ireland were to lose to England, then those extra few points that Scotland can get might become hugely influential. And one more threes, and I'll have 33 points, and 29 is unlikely right now. Says Blues, Nate. So did you back the exact scoreline, Nate, or did you back like a certain number of points or anything? along those lines. I agree, but England will recover fast. They have some good young players coming through. And Finn Russell has got the kick over, making it now 30 points to 16. Scotland up by 14. You did predict by 15, Kerr, I believe. I'll be honest, I didn't believe you, but I should have by the looks of this. And what does the table look like, says Hannah? This is the current table with the exception of Ireland are now sitting on 15 points rather than the 10. Wales are still on 3, but their points differential is looking a little bit worse now. But yeah, Ireland sitting on 15 points. So whoever wins this game will be in second place, more than likely at the end of this round. So, a bit on the line. What is New Zealand's most dangerous mammal? I couldn't actually tell you that. I don't actually know what it would be. And England has some good players abroad. So here's Eric. Oh, straight through England. Score. Emmanuel Fee Waboso. Where did he come from? Because that gap wasn't there when I looked last, and then all of a sudden, you're him straight through. Do you think Scotland have another try on them? Now they're going to have to. But yeah, flat pass. Gap huge. Terrible misread from Scotland. Mind the gap, yeah, it was huge. Straight through. And Scotland have dominated England the past few years, yet somehow people think it's a given England will win. Says Kerr. Female Kiwis, and thank you, says Anna, no worries. But Duan could score his 4th try. But now, with that one, score gets a little bit closer. But Fee Waiboso. And England need Johnny Wilkinson back. What's that good-looking lock, Martin Johnson? Says Ruth. Now, Finn Smith has hit the post and it's come back out. So England are going to need a little bit more. If that kick had gone over, she could have been all on for young and old. Yeah, straight through. The gap Scotland have this unless they really mess up, but England just got to try, says Brian. And yeah, that miss kick could be hugely... Oh, those 3 points from Scotland early on might play factor again. It's Dr. Martin looking good-looking Roof. And 37-21, Scotland by 16, says Kerr there. Also, you're back in the bonus point as well there. And how does Scotland just let that try come out of nowhere? Yeah, it looked like it should have been well defended, and then there was just a massive gap next to the breakdown. Jamie George has been taken off the field. That is for Theo. Damn, we need Owen Farrell back, says Hannah. Ben Spencer. So but like it was mentioned earlier on about the young players for England, they're actually the ones who have got England back into this game because they're willing to go for things that are more aggressive than you would normally see. Come on, Scotland, do it. Fidoti says James, and frustrating, says Adam, and just Ireland can win the Grand Slam as it stands, says Connor. And sent them home Woods to think about, or think again, says Keith. Nicely taken by Scotland, well defended by England. They managed to shut their rolling maul down pretty much straight away. Cutting himself makes the next tackle. George Horn. Next pass. He's got Doctor. If Scotland don't get a bonus point, they should be torn to pieces by management, says Kerr. Now nice quick hands. Oh, it's gone back though. It's going to be the penalty to England for obstruction. This seems like we're starting to see a little bit of a turning point in this match. Ref should wear Scotland's shirt, says Mark. I think Scotland have been penalised more times in this game, Mark, than England. I'll actually get the stat for you just to make sure. I could be wrong in that statement, of course. But penalties, yeah, Scotland have been penalised 7 times. England have been penalised 5. So you're wrong is pretty much what I'm saying. We'll get there, take the drop kick to Scotland. Says Blues, Nate. Can you explain what crossing means? Depends in what regard. Like cross kick? Is that what you mean? Or what's the go? Now, 24 metres out. England have this rolling maul. It's not really rolling though, so it's just a maul. They've been dragged down. 10 minutes remaining on the clock now. Will they go for a drop goal here? Teabag him, says Darren. That penalty that just happened to Scotland. So yeah, it was obstruction. Pretty much is how they describe it. That is going to be the Scottish turnover rolling maul. The ball wouldn't come out and Scotland end up with it. But yeah, pretty much that means that there was obstruction, so a player was in front of the man who was running forward. Tackles made 126 for the Scottish, 91 for the English throughout this game. We've seen 12 dominant tackles from Scotland compared to just the 2 dominant of the English. It's like blocking someone in American football. It's illegal, says Gus. And there as well. There is not much time on the clock left now. 9 minutes, and this scrum will use up probably another minute or so. Shout out to Tyke Furlong, says Brendan Mercer. And I'll tell you what, there you go. Tyke Furlong up in the top corner. He's the only player's head that I randomly have in my options. There you go, he can watch over us for the rest of the game. They call it docking in the States, and come on England, says Trev. It's going to be dropped by England. Now back in the hands of Blair Kinghorn. Love it, says Brendan. But yeah, if you had said any other player, I wouldn't have been able to do that. That is the only player I've got a random head of. Finn Russell, loose, tries to go for the grubber, doesn't work out for him. Been driven backwards quite drastically, but they will go back for the original knock-on. Who does Scotland have next? Their next game, they are going to be going head-to-head with Italy, and then their closing game of the Six Nations will be up against the Irish. That is in 3 weeks' time. Please do not move the posts. Need the threes. And South Africa did well against Scotland in the World Cup. They are not bad. Says, it was there from Cool Story, bro. Now 8 minutes remaining. The clock has been turned off as well, I should mention. Scotland paid the ref. Mark, you didn't listen before though, did you? Because I said that Scotland have given away more penalties than England. England have dropped the ball 18 times according to the stats. Fun fact, the ref didn't do that. That was a bit harsh, wasn't it? I'm sleep deprived, so I feel like just looking at the stats say otherwise. The English are too many. Says Darren Tate. And hey, dude, good to see you again. A great game, by the way, says Jason. Welcome in, mate. We are doing extremely well. Of course, Six Nations tomorrow night as well. We are covering France versus Italy. Here with the laughing faces. It's something that I probably wouldn't say when I'm not sleep deprived, though. But Mark seems like he's struggling. Never seen Hamish this angry before. But that's the thing, I'm still smiling. I feel like my anger lasts like 1 second. And then I forget how to be angry. Gerard Butler's smiling big time. Been in quite a few movies, hasn't he? Looks like Redpath's got a bleeding nose. So back out onto the field. So Ben Healy, the man on. I miss to play this sport so much. I need to start training. And hold. Come on, Scotland, says James, and you should get some sleep after this game. Sadly, I don't think I'll be able to squeeze it in. We're going to be editing 2 quick videos, and then I might get an hour's sleep before the next Sevens live stream that we have got. Ham, Sofa King, we tart dead, says Darren. Let's have a scrum. They are having another scrum. There are a lot of scrums throughout the final moments of this game, unfortunately. But it's good for Scotland because that's going to use up more time. 9 points difference. Scotland will be disappointed to walk away with anything less than a bonus point win. Definitely with the way that they've played. Like, they've got the 3 tries. I know anything can happen in this game. But I can't see either of these 2 teams beating Ireland. So I aim at 5 South Africa time in the morning. Wonder if he remembers. I've been up at some very random times. Some of you guys, or I don't know if anyone on this, maybe someone on these live streams. We once did a live stream in the middle of the night, back at the start, and I was just eating Pringles, watching, I think it was the Six Nations. And thanks for the commentary, can't get any live coverage here in Dubai on holiday. Says Win Roberts. So hopefully the weather is treating you well in Dubai. Who are you going for in this one, Win? Do you have... I see you've got a dragon, so I assume you were going for Wales, maybe? And to be fair, they didn't do too badly up against Ireland. I know the score looks bad in some regards, but, like, I think they actually probably pushed Ireland the hardest that any side has. And they're such a young side as well. Now, Spencer puts it high on the halfway line, running onto this one. Ben Healy, he's knocked the ball on. Chance here for England. Good low tackle made. But space opens up. Finn Smith. Oh, he hasn't gone through. Freeman taken down. England still doing the rush defence. Not as effectively. I think that as soon as that try was scored by Duan van der Merwe, they decided maybe we shouldn't rush defence. And to be fair, it's probably a good idea, because if you don't rush up, you at least have cover for that one. Hang on. Nicely taken. Thanks again for the good coverage, says Bruce. No worries at all. We are going to be back, of course, for the next match. Scotland, says Win Roberts, so you'll be happy enough. The way that the score sits, 5.5 minutes remaining. And now George Horn, just inside of his own half, will go for another box kick. Chasing after this one's Kyle Steyn. Knock on from England. I think that was the youngster Finn Smith. He's got that one wrong. Now Finn Russell looking for the kick in behind. Giving possession back to Fiwi Waboso. I don't think you can afford to do that massive run from the big man. I know what they are. I wonder why you brought up spectacles. And thank you for the commentary. You are the best, says Hannah. There will be the penalty now, though, going the way of England. 5 minutes remaining. Looks like Redpath, he has got half a cotton bud shoved up his nose. He wants to continue this match. But the problem that they've got is the time is running a little bit low. Have you ever tried an anchovy and mayo smoothie? I've never tried an anchovy, so no. And that's some nerves, says Eric J. Unlike the stream, says Eric. Now as well, Ben Healy now going to actually make his way from the field. He might only get 1 minute. Those are salty, says Mikhail. Theo Dan, Scotland can't be bothered playing anymore, or what? I'll be honest, it seems like they've accepted that they're in the lead and they're just trying to close out the game. I hope that they chase the bonus point, though. Wayne Barnes was bribed with KFC. I mean, KFC, if it's good, it's good, you know. You gotta get it good, though. If it's not good, then I wouldn't accept the bribe. Our wide pass has gone badly for England. Trying the skip pass has actually gone over the top of Ben Earl. Oh. So Ollie Lawrence. I mean, Earl, I think he thought he had someone on his outside, but he didn't. And Ollie Lawrence just turned away and wouldn't even look at his teammate there. 3 minutes remaining. Now Scotland in possession. They need one more. They want a Six Nations title, and any chance of getting there, they need a victory now, and they need a bonus point. Still rolling forward very nicely here. George Turner came off the field for Ewan Ashman, and since Ashman made his way out there, he has been looking very capable indeed. Ball stripped by Maro Atoje. Just a loose carry from Ashman, just as I was praising him. As the referee for this game, it is Andrew Brace of Ireland who's in charge of this one. And Marius Jonker, the South African, is on the TMO. Oh, that's a tip tackle, I think, from Duan van der Merwe. It wasn't too bad, but they always say if he's above the horizontal, can get you in a little bit of trouble. Hopefully he has just turned him to his back there. Nah, they're going back for the penalty for the tip tackle from Duan van der Merwe. Lifting tackle. Now England making a few extra meters. I get depressed without sleep. How do you manage crazy strong mental toughness? Says Kirsten. Oh, that's a big slam. I'll be honest, I don't know how I function. Like, because we've been doing live streams like 20 hours of a weekend or like of a day. But somehow we're still awake. Like, I am supposed to be playing golf later on with the family. I think I'm going to fall asleep on the golf course. Hopefully, I don't think we got a golf cart. I'll have to carry my clubs. Just try and sleepwalk around the course. But she'll be right. We'll get to catch up on sleep hopefully on Tuesday. That's the plan anyway. Easter eggs are not safe around me. Says Blues Nate. And so far, Scotland have played half the game against Wales and France and won. Seems against England. But against Ireland, they need to play the full game. Yeah. Duan van der Merwe just been taken off the field last 90 seconds. That seems weird to me. I feel like, Scotland have actually got, no, he's been taken off because he got yellow carded for that one. Yeah, it actually got upgraded. And it is now going to be a bunker review to see if Duan van der Merwe gets himself a red card. If he does, that was really, really dumb, to say the very least. But now England, not only has it given them another chance in this game, they've got 90 seconds or just under remaining, and they are moving up to the 22. Scotland need to defend like their Six Nations depends on it. I don't know if there's enough time. There won't be now because Scotland have got themselves the scrum feed after holding up the maul. It was Ewan Ashman. Calcutta Cup's going nowhere this time. Says Mystic Novel Bro. And Scotland is England's daddy, says a Justin. Hamish I had to go on an Easter egg hunt in his garden. There is a video that never got released on the channel where me and George, we did like an Easter egg hunt around my house. It was a really weird Sunday. We were both extremely tired. My mum filmed it. It's a video that I don't think will see the light of day. I was dressed as Harry Potter. I don't know why. George was dressed as Santa. What happens when the Calcutta Cup, if there is a tie, I believe it goes to the team who did have the trophy. I believe. Blackpool is like English rugby. Used to be good, now it's a disaster. Says Karen, well done Scotland. Says Justin, so if Scotland wins today, beats Italy and beats Ireland, will they still lose the cup because they don't have enough points? Sorry, I'm American, says gnashing of the teeth. So they would have really needed the bonus point here, I believe, to have a good shot of walking away at the top because Ireland have received 3 bonus points. So, yeah, they'll be a little bit behind Scotland in terms of the chase. But they got a good chance of finishing second in the overall ranking. So, Mum, can you film our Easter egg hunt? Yeah. It was a strange video. It's worse than a disaster, says Mark. And Wigan, says Mark Smith. And now Scotland, they will put it back into the pocket. Finn Russell will boot the ball into touch. They're going to make up those points in a different game. They can, but you can only receive a maximum of 5 points per game. So Scotland in this game have received the 4. England received the 5 in their last game. So Scotland, they're behind once again. And also Ireland have not lost a game. So that is why it's a little bit trickier. And Scotland really did need the bonus point. Scotland should have taken the 7 instead of the 3 and walked away with a bonus point win, says Kerr. And there's it is a win for Scotland at the end of the day, but I feel like they could have got that bonus point there, and that would have helped them big time. Gregor Townsend was celebrating, though. Jocks, says Sifo. And a real win for Scotland coming up, says Cool Story. Bro, and quite frustrating decisions, but in the end, there's only one winner, and great win for Scotland, says Radley Tube. And their chat as well, and Scotland is England's daddy. Is that why Scotland rely on them to survive from money sent to them? Says AI Major Master. And disappointing result for Scotland's 3rd game in a row now. Wales was horrible second half. France. Let's not discuss it now this, says Kerr in there as well. Duan van der Merwe, man of the match for Scotland, getting himself the hat-trick, which heavily impacted how far the Scottish went in this contest. The Super Slam is still on for Ireland, although I think that we may win the Slam. Bonus point wins against Scotland and away to England would be difficult. And also a great result for Ireland. If it stays this way, no bonus point for Scotland or England, says Brian. And there as well. And that is the way that it will stay, ladies and gents. 30 points to 21. My prediction was 25-22, so I wasn't a mile off in the end. But England scoring the first try, and that was one of the only tries that they scored other than that last-minute one from Fee Awaibuso. But the next live stream that we have got, ladies and gentlemen, will be taking place in about 2.5 hours. That's not enough time to sleep, is it? That'll be the game between Ireland and South Africa. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've also got the Six Nations tomorrow between France and Italy. That is at 4 a.m. New Zealand time or at 5 p.m. for you guys in the UK. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm almost losing my voice. I will see you all for the next one.